Hello. Today I would like to continue my favorite topic as of late, namely how to build custom visuals in Deneb. Today I will be building dumbbell chart. Let's dive right in. Let's see what we will be working with. This is the dumbbell chart that we will be building in Deneb today. As you can see, I really like how it looks. And it's actually both adaptive, which means you can change the size and it will adjust accordingly. Let me try that. As well as interactive. You can click on any bar and it will filter your data in Power BI. And also, as you can see, it highlights the selected one. However, in this video, I will focus on basic parts, how to build dumbbell chart, and interactive things like those indicators for whether value grew compared to previous period or lowered compared to previous period. How to make highlight for selected dumbbell. This will be in the next video. Today, focusing on the basic parts. Okay, let's open the spec for the Deneb chart. It is written in Vega-Lite, which is sufficient for the chart of this complexity. Let me start going through the spec. So, as you can see here, we started with dataset, the standard part. This is my dataset and the data that I am adding. I'm just providing 3 fields, I believe. Let me check. Yes, 3 fields. 2 measures, total sales amount last year, simple, typical measures, and category, which is displayed at the bottom. Audio, cell phones, etc. I'm using Contoso database for this example. Okay, so just 3 fields. Bit of padding. This part is responsible to fitting the visual and to making it adaptive. Important thing here is that if you're using v-concat, like vertical concat or horizontal concat, that will not work. However, in this visual, I'm not using it. If, for example, I wanted to overlay legend and add it at the top, I would need to use it. However, I removed legend for the sake of keeping visual adaptive. So this will fit visual within its allocated space. You can also specify here either fit on x-axis if you do this, or y-axis if you do this. In my case, I want to fit both axes, and also to take into account this padding that I am adding on all sides. Okay, moving on. In transformation, the important part here that I need to mention, I believe, is x-axis labels. Those labels can be quite long. So what I did is I wanted to shorten them or set a limit, and up until that limit it would display the label axis label. After, it's just dots. Therefore, in transform section, I'm doing calculate and I'm doing substring from category field. I'm taking first 15 symbols, and there is more than 15, I'm just adding 3 dots. And I call it short category, and that short category is the one that I will be using everywhere in the visual. So let's move to layers. So the first layer, the one at the bottom, is the rule 1. It's those gray backdrops or background lines that you see here. under indicators. So they are rounded, as you can see here. The cap is round. You can do square, whatever works for you, for your styling. However, in my case, it's rounded. Width is 15. If you change it to 20, you will see how it changes. Actually, it doesn't look half bad as well. However, I'll put 15 back. And let me zoom in a bit so you see better the changes. Now, to the encoding. The important part here is that all the encodings should use short category. Otherwise, you will have elements misaligned, which you probably don't want to. So, for x-axis, I'm using short category. That's the transformed field for text labels. Okay. Title is set to 0. I don't need it. And the styling, the styling is described here. I'm removing, or my approach to visuals is quite minimalistic. So I'm trying to remove all the noise, everything. So domain, ticks, etc. Grid, well, actually, if I remove the grid, you will see what will happen. Those vertical lines aren't here. It looks okay as well. However, I prefer the way it looks with those lines. And I set opacity quite low to 75%. Width quite narrow. And actually, they are not supposed to be dashed. So this can't be removed at all. Okay, so this is those grid lines, vertical ones. Now, label padding, I'm adding a bit of space here between the chart itself and axis labels. I'm angling, as you can see, them because otherwise they would not fit vertically, neither they would fit horizontally, and the more categories you will have, or if you have subcategories, the harder it will be to fit everything together. So this is something you will have to place based on granularity of your data. Yeah. And and just a bit of styling, font weight, color, etc. Everything to make it look a bit nicer. Now, y-axis. For y-axis, I have two fields, or two measures. Last year measure, current year measure. Again, both are regular numbers, nothing special about that. And this is related again to styling. Let's see how it actually affects the visual. Let's add domain. True. Okay. This adds the domain on the left. Don't like how it looks. Okay. Ticks, true. Those are the lines that you see here. I felt like it fits quite nicely to the visual. Tick size, again, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. Again, depends on your taste. Label line, label baseline, etc. Grid. Let's set to true and see how it would change the visual. This adds horizontal grid lines. However, I personally don't see use for it because we have vertical Dumbbell chart. Therefore, why would I need horizontal grid lines? I'm not comparing horizontally. So, move it. Otherwise, again, styling, don't want to go in details into that. Let's move on to the next layer. Next layer is the circle for past year that we overlay on top of that backdrop. Okay. This is a circle, as you can see. This is dark navy blue. Whether you see or not, it's dark navy blue. I specify the size. Again, I just wanted it to look or be a bit smaller than the backdrop. Let's move on. For encoding, again, it uses the same short category. Otherwise, let me show you what will happen if it's regular category. And as you can see now, those circles are misaligned because they're using different categories, not the ones that I calculated or made. Therefore, again, make sure it's short category. For y-axis, I'm using last year because those circles are just for last year. Color, dark navy blue. Again, all of the dynamic parts will be in next video. Next layer is circle for current year. Approach is quite similar, or absolutely similar. The only difference here are those dynamic parts, which again will be discussed later on. So far we have 3 layers: backdrop and 2 dots for previous year, for current year, mapped to relevant measures. Okay, and that's it actually. This dumbbell chart, vertical dumbbell chart, takes just 3 layers in Deneb and quite easy to build. I know at first it might look a bit overwhelming because of all of the JSON and all of the Vega-Lite code. However, let me tell you, it's quite easy and quite flexible. There are limitations, plenty of those, but you can make those custom visuals quite fast and adapt to your needs or style to your needs the way you want. That's all for today. Subscribe and see you in the next one.